Hey, so this may be the third time that I'm recording this video for reasons, but I'm still going to get through it all regardless. These are my daily updates. I make over $400,000 a month right now, and I do it by both selling information and selling services. So in this video, I want to run you through how I do it, and I also answer a bunch of questions that you guys have had about how I'm doing it, and then how you guys can employ a similar approach to make similarly large amounts of money as well. Today's just going to be a comment Q&A day, which just means I'm only going to be responding to your guys' comments. Normally I do some sort of building and strategizing in public. I show you guys my growth stats and stuff, but today I figured I'd just make a long Q&A video, basically just dumping my brain onto the internet. I find that really fun, and I also get a lot of repurposability out of it, which helps with all of my other content channels. So one of my content channels, YouTube, obviously this long form one. I have another channel called just my first and last name that is almost at 184K subs. The one you guys are watching right now is called my daily updates channel. And yeah, I've tried recording this video a couple of times, but there was always like some audio issue in the background. And it's just because I had my AirPods in without realizing that was impacting my audio. So I've answered a ton of questions. I'm just going to very quickly re-answer those questions. And then my goal today is I want to do at least 100 questions. Like I want to do 100 Q&As. Okay. So hopefully you guys are up for that. Hopefully I'm not going to yap on too much. And at some point I'm probably going to order breakfast because I am getting pretty dang hungry. Okay. 9:50. Cool. Let's do this thing. So last comment was from Jared, who says, Agentic Builders coming to GHL. Thank you very much for that, Jared. Coach Carter says, I'm a driving instructor and wanted to reach people online with the teaching and methods I have to help people get their license quicker and cheaper than a standard driving lesson. Is there anything that comes to mind in how AI automation could help in my niche? I'm thinking if I can help me solve my clients' problems, I'll be able to scale it up. Thank you, Fraser. Coach Carter, I have written you a pretty detailed method by which you can improve this. They're just right over here on my daily updates Lucid chart here. So I'm just going to walk you through it. Basically, and I don't know how much money you're starting this stuff with, so I'm making a lot of assumptions here. You could take whatever parts apply to you. But basically, you have a variety of ways that you can generate leads for a business like this. Now, if you don't have a lot of money, you're probably not going to be able to do the primary one, which is going to be ads, like paid advertising, or Bark, which is a lead aggregator. You also mentioned you're in the UK, and some of these services don't apply there, but realistically, you have, I want to say 8 primary lead gen methods available to you. So I would press hard on the referrals. I'd reach out to everybody in my network and I'd let them know what you do. And I'd ask to see if there are any families or people or maybe immigrants to the country or something like that that like need licenses done. If so, reach out to you. I would do partnerships with like immigration consultants, people that are responsible for bringing new people into the country that are going to want a discount on getting licenses, but that still understand how to do some of the fundamentals of driving, because you're talking about how, your service is going to be a little bit different from a normal driving instructor. I would use services like Craigslist. I would use ads, obviously, if you have them. I'd use things like Facebook Marketplace, Kijiji. I don't know if you guys have that out there. If you guys have any local associations, I would like print out posters talking about, what your service is with a little QR code. And then I'd use services like Bark. And what I do is I'd route all of these to a form fill. This centralized form fill is basically just going to be a series of simple questions that are going to ask things like, hey, what's your name? Who the hell are you? What's your email address? What's your phone number? And then why do you want this? And what do you want? And what I do, and this is really where AI automation comes in, what I do is I would make my speed to lead the core differentiator of my service relative to all of the other things that they could do. So if you think about it, the way that most driving instructors work, unfortunately, is like you will look for a driving instructor and it'll be like, hey, fill out a form. And then you fill out a form and then it'll go to their email inbox. And because they're like 900 years old and they don't understand the technology, they don't understand how important leads are, it'll just exist in the void. And 24 hours later, somebody will get back to me like, hey, Peter, I saw that you filled out your driving instructor application. I would love to help you. And then, if you still want the thing, if you haven't worked with somebody else already, then you'll get in touch and you'll actually do it. So there's a lot of drop off there. It's very inefficient. It's obviously not the best customer experience. So where you could stand out is in your ability to respond very quickly. How you do that is you have AI extract the form fields, you paraphrase and summarize a reply. You say, hey, Pete, totally feel you, getting my license at 16 was really important to me as well. So I can sort that out for you very quickly. Just going to give you a ring in the next 5 minutes here and I can walk you through what that looks like. Cool. Awesome. Great. This is called setting, and you use AI to like do your initial speed to lead, your initial response. And the reason why you do this is because, think about my desire. If I am somebody that is looking for, driving instructing services, I'll fill out a form. And then if I don't have my thing dealt with right there, I'll just move on to another one and then I'll call them or fill out a form. And then I'll move on to another one, call them, fill out a form. So your ability to actually respond to leads is a very big competitive advantage. From there, I'd push to a call of some kind where, I elucidate the value of the service, even if it's very quick, 5-10 minutes. And then I would use AI, automation, N8N, Make.com, these no-code platforms to automate the sending of some sort of asset or payment link. Maybe I'm using Stripe or something. I don't know what you guys are going to be doing exactly in the UK. I know you guys could use Stripe, but maybe there's another payment processor that's better. but I'd automate the sending of like an SMS with a one-click payment link. In the payment link, I'd have like a quick terms of service that describes what you are going to be delivering, but I wouldn't make it like a fancy thing. I would literally just like, hey, okay, great, that sounds awesome, Pete. So I just sent you over a payment link automatically to your phone number. If you just pull the phone away from your face, you put me on speaker, and then I can answer any questions that you have about that. Like I just deal with it right then and there. And then, yeah, if you can automate some aspects of the fulfillment, then please do. And then finally, you guys can also activate leads that you have dealt with in the past. So I don't know what your driving structure is really like, to be honest, but in British Columbia, where I grew up and I got my license, which is in Canada, is very simple. We had an L, and then a year later, you could apply for your N. So your L was like your learner's license. You had to do a test for it. And your N was like the actual one where you had to drive. So if I was helping somebody get their L, and one of the questions in my form is like, do you have your L test booked? If not, let me help you book it. I'd book it, and I'd mark that down on my calendar. And like a couple months before their N test, or a couple months, like a year after, or whatever, 10 months after, assuming it's a year separation between the N and the L, L and the N, Jesus, I would then send a email sequence and an SMS. Hey, Pete, hope you're enjoying driving around the place. Like I know you have your end test coming up pretty soon. More than happy to help you. I have like some time-sensitive discount or time-sensitive deal or something like that. Okay. And you could use make.com and NNN for all that. So hopefully that helps. All right. Hey, Nick, thanks. This is Sharuk. Hey, Nick, when just starting learning automation with the goal of becoming a freelancer on Upwork, do you recommend just sticking to one platform like NNN and focusing all your development there? Yes, for sure. Just pick NNN or Make and just stick to it. Do you also have a recommendation of what kinds of projects you should be focusing on other than personal use cases to build skills and also put in your portfolio? Your portfolio is just a checkbox, so just check it. Doesn't really matter what it is. Take one of my scenarios or workflows, make a couple changes to it so you can convince yourself it's yours, and then just screenshot it, add a title, a description, and put it on your portfolio. Portfolio is not the big thing you need to spend time on. Two legends together in one video. He's referring to me and Nate Herc. Thank you very much. 849, I'm dying. Sorry, Drew. I'm not going to give that a click again. This took me a while to get to last time. Renofax is of a photo booth rental business. I made an AI agent that auto replies to incoming leads, talks them until they're closed and until they pay. And it also sends them a thank you message and does follow-ups. What can I charge? I'm based in the UK. So I don't know. I don't know what you could charge. Generally speaking, you charge a fraction of the value you provide. So if you provide, let's say $10,000 a month in value, you could charge like $2,000 or $3,000 a month in order to provide the service, because that's a return, right? Now, how I would approach this though, how I would sell this is I would position this as, hey, I know you run a photo booth rental. I do too. I'm out in location, maybe in the UK. This is out of left field, but I built this AI agent that basically handles all my photo booth rental things. I made $5,000 last month just using this system. And I wanted to see if you might have interest in using this too, from one photo booth rental business owner to another. I'm very confident this would work. So much so that I actually guarantee you a certain amount of money made. And if I don't deliver that outcome, then you wouldn't pay a cent or anything. Would there be interest in this? You're one of the first people I reached out to because I'm just testing this service. What do you think? That's what I'd do. What kind of camera do you use in your main channel? What type of mic do you use? And could I get the info of whoever your YouTube editor is? You cannot get the info of my YouTube editor. What kind of camera do I use? I use a Sony A7C, and then the mic is a Samsung Q2U. Birds of a Feather says, I support Churion, just like Liam is my own bro. If you know what I mean, I will stay loyal to him. Thank you, but really phenomenal work and inspiration. My need served one for sure. Really appreciate that. Again, 200 IQ says, the thing is, he's a complete scammer. It's a very 200 IQ play because I don't know who you're referring to. There's Hormozy, me, and then Sam Evans on stage there. But if you wanted to rage bait me, you would have to add a little bit more detail. Anybody that wants to rage bait me. Andy Fideli says, Nick, I'm considering trying out to be a copywriter. Is it still possible to get $10,000 a month as a copywriter and even $10K a month and beyond? If so, if you were to start as a copywriter in 2025, how would you go about hitting my first $10K a month? Those of you guys that don't know, I used to run a copywriting agency called 1 Second Copy with my partner, Noah, and we scaled it to over 90 grand in a month, and it was fantastic. But then ChatGPT came out, and then I saw margins go down and AI detectability become a major part of like what people were wanting in their service. So I stopped doing my copywriting agency. It still operates. I think last month we made almost 20 grand. So like it's still going on in the background. We have writers that are, being paid out, and like, it's a positive net plus to the world. But if I thought copywriting was a good industry to get in now, I would not have started an AI automation company. Is it possible to hit $10,000 a month? It's possible to hit $10,000 a month literally scooping up ice and selling it to Eskimos. You could sell anything to 10 grand a month. So it's not about a possibility. It's just about like how much more difficult is it doing this than it is doing something else. I want you to know though, the 10K a month problem is not very difficult. You think it's difficult because you are where I was a few years ago. You are looking at $10,000 a month and it looks like it's on top of a skyscraper. My goal used to be to make $2 grand a month. So I completely understand where you're coming from with that. But the 10K a month problem is very simple. It is a caveman brute force applied tenacity problem, where if you were just a tenacious, consistent person and you just like show up every day and do something, even if what you are doing is not very effective, you will eventually hit 10 grand a month. So don't worry too much about, is it possible to do this? Is it possible to do this? Of course it is. It's just like, are you the sort of person that can put in consistent effort for a long period of time to drive results in any industry? That's the question that you should answer. Jack says the categorization status-based versus subtask-based CRMs was really interesting. It's a distinction you notice during implementation, but I haven't thought about it on a strategic level. Thank you. Thank you. This fella, Abib, had a meeting, sent a proposal, but the prospect is MAA now. It's been a week. Got another interested prospect, wouldn't reply back to me since emailing, let's talk. Welcome to sales, my friend. Could you please clarify these? What can we realistically expect when running cold email for the first time? At what volumes can we safely say money will hit our bank account? I laughed my ass off when I read this the first time when I was recording this with the screwed up audio. But I found it funny because, like, I don't know, man. Like, there's no way I could tell you how much volume you need to send to make money. There's so many variables at play here. Like, just be logical. Like, there's like, you know, what is your deliverability on the email? What is the open rate on the email? What's the reply rate on the email? What fraction of those are positive? What fraction of those lead to a meeting? What fraction of those meetings actually show up? What fraction of those meetings lead to a proposal? What fraction of people sign the proposal? What amount are you selling your service for? What fraction of those do you refund? Like, do you know what I mean? I mean, like, that's like 9 variables, right? That's like literally you're asking me to do more than like the Fermi paradox, my man. So I don't know. Does intelligent life exist elsewhere in the universe? Shit. If I had a crystal ball, I'd 100% answer this, but I don't. Suffice to say, if you send 1 million emails a day, you'll probably make some money, but you'd have to pay for the capacity to send 1 million emails a day. How much of the AI automation business itself can be automated? So there's can and should. Humanity only asked themselves if they could, not if they should. I would not automate anything to do with like human-facing work. So any human-facing time, anytime you're spending talking to people, your disco call, the video you record alongside your proposal, any closing calls that you may or may not have, any onboarding calls or kickoff calls that you have, any weekly strategy calls or whatever that you may be doing, any sort of like reactivation call or upsell call. Like I would never automate these. I would always have a human being in the seat because you're just making way more money when it's like white glove service than you are if you just like automate it all. That's why people work with service providers for the most part. So just automate everything else. Potter says, since you said I could ask, what do you put in your coffee? I only drink coffee to poop. So nothing. No, just kidding. I put in like some caramel creamer. You're doing some amazing stuff. What do you do with all the money you make? Now, why do you do what you do? 97% of the money that hits my bank account, I save. So 97%, overwhelmingly. Put another way, I only need to spend 2.5%, I believe, on actual living, which is great. So, you know, people say that wealth is a ratio of your income to your expenses, and my income to expense ratio is crazy. I'm probably one of the wealthiest. Well, I know I am one of the wealthiest people in the world. So I don't do anything with the money that I make aside from invest it and like reinvest in my own business. I'm trying to get better at investing in my own business because I come from a background where, historically speaking, we were quite poor. And so I tend towards frugality, even when it is not necessarily the most effective thing. So I'm working on that. Why do you do what you do? It's at the intersection of what I'm good at and what I think delivers a lot of value to the world and what I think can make me a lot of money. So I just live at the intersection of those things. Daryl says, hey, Nick, no questions. Just want to say I've been binge watching The Five. Daryl's letting me advertise The Five podcast. It's my podcast with Matt Larsen, where I talk about 5 things we're doing in our businesses today to make money. Thank you very much for that, my man. Ken says, hardly anyone is doing real raw value packed, no fancy edit deliveries. Congrats on winning the Skool games. Thank you. I'm a Google Ads lead gen expert service-based business based in London. I've made little progress, 1 to 2 clients, and I recently came across your content. Since then, I'm thinking, should I quit Google Ads and then start learning AI automation? Would really mean a lot of your word of advice. Cheers, mate. No problem. Man, I wish I could say mate and be all cool. I sound like a loser. When I say mate, cheers, mate. Nobody skewer me for that. No, I don't think I would quit what I'm doing. It's clearly already demonstrated some results, right? What I would do is I would weave AI and automation into the Google Ads offering. And hopefully you understand how to do that because I just showed you how to build like a speed to lead based type system, right? So I have speed to lead systems on my channel. Just type in like email autoresponder, make.com, Nick Saraev or something, and you'll find it. You know, just like Google that. And then, yeah, I would recommend that. You know, I would just do what I'm currently doing and then keep on scaling it up. Okay, hey Nick, you said that bidding on Upwork is important. I'm new to Upwork. When I try to apply for a job, I cannot find the bid option. Is it because of my profile or because the client doesn't allow bids on their job? Sometimes jobs just don't include bids. So maybe open up 10. And if you know all 10 don't include bids, might be something to do with your profile. I'm not entirely sure here. Sorry, man. We are not close to AGI yet, says the man in black. This guy's crushing it on Skool games and YouTube, and yet has such an egregious misunderstanding of AI, specifically LLMs. Thanks for letting me know I'm still early to the game as a creator in the AI niche. Well, I wish you would point out what the misunderstanding is, my man. Yeah, I think I probably am like one of the more qualified, probably the most qualified creator to talk about this, because I've actually, I went through and then like I built like a GPT mini. I scaled it up, did some hardware stuff, and I've also like built models that do things like, generate images and stuff like that. I did all this stuff way back in 2019, 2020. So when I find people saying like, this guy doesn't understand this stuff, I'm always like a little bit skeptical, because I'm like, have you actually worked through the infrastructure? Like, do you know the matrix multiplication math behind attention? Attention is all you need. Anyway, whatever the reality is, I can't really argue with this on that. I can just say, like, statistically speaking, I would be curious to hear why. And statistically speaking, I find this unlikely, and I would be curious to hear why. Where Sam says, when discussing retainers, you often want to assess the value being delivered by exploring things like their current expenses, the value of the prospect's time, and potential opportunity costs. But since these topics touch on finances, what if during a sales call, the person isn't comfortable sharing that kind of information and reacts defensively? How do you approach the conversation in that case? That's a great question. I find like there's some cultural differences in people's propensity to discuss their own finances on a call. But I will say you can insulate against a lot of these instinctive, like, I'm not going to tell you that, just by being, just by being like socially aware. For instance, I will never say, what are your current expenses? What is the value of your time? What is the potential opportunity cost? Insert Family Guy, Stewie rotating his head. What I'll say is I'll say something along the lines of, so how are you guys currently doing this? Oh, cool. So what sort of software are you using for that? Nice. Man, that's pretty expensive, huh? Yeah, another client of mine used to use that, and that was $300 a month. Are you guys on that plan? Okay, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, it makes sense. Cool. And then you're also doing this and that? Okay. So in my head, now I know that they're currently spending $1,500 because I've just added up the numbers, right? I haven't asked them how much money are you spending on X, Y, and Z outright. What I've done is I've like kind of swerved, and then I've estimated and guessed. What I find is when you estimate and when you make it clear that you are estimating to the client, if you are wrong, the client will correct you. So you get the information you need without the client even understanding that what you've really done is you've asked a question. 200 IQ play, huh? But then more importantly, what you're doing is you're demonstrating an understanding every time that you make an estimate like this. Because if your estimates aren't total shit, then the client will be like, okay, this person's clearly done this before. So it's kind of like an advanced sales technique, I would say. Another thing is the opportunity cost. I would not say how much money, like overtly, like how much money have you made in the last month? What I would say is, so how are the sales going? Do you get most of your sales primarily through like ads? Is it mostly like inbound? Is it mostly like referrals? Like, run me through it. Yeah, most of our deals are from referrals. And it's like, oh, okay, cool. Do you guys get like more than one of those a month? That's like, yeah, I would say maybe we get like one a month. That's like, yeah, I find that pretty standard with referral-based business. I used to run a referral-based business as well. And, obviously it's knock on when you get more clients, probability of having them refer you is up, and then, things tend to explode from there. But if you don't have that first foot in the door, it can be pretty tricky to build up that referral stream, right? Okay, cool. So it's like, one client a month. And then what are you guys doing again? You're doing some sort of like ongoing ad management service. So what do you charge for that? Like two to 5K, somewhere in that range? Yeah, our package is $4,500 actually. Okay, cool. That's nice. And then how many clients, or how many months do they normally stay on with you for? It's like, 3 months. So now in my head, I'm like, okay, cool. So the average lifetime value of this opportunity is now $13,500. It's 4,500 times 3. They get one new $13,500 LTV client per month, meaning they're adding $13,500 in new revenue every single month. What's the last question I need to know? How much money they're making? I need to know how many clients they have. So I'm like, all right, cool. Fantastic. Great. Cool. We worked through that. Sounds like you guys got something good going on here. It's just a matter of pouring fuel on the fire. How many clients are you guys currently juggling right now? We're doing 10. And it's like, oh, okay, cool. Has your pricing always been like $4,500 a month, or has that like slowly increased over time? I mean, we started at 2K and now it's 4.5K. So I'm like, okay, what's the average between those two? Maybe 3. So 3 times 10, 30 grand. So their MRR approximately is 30 grand. And then they add 13.5K new LTV every month. Fantastic. And their expenses are this much. Now I know everything I need to know about this business, everything I need to know in order to confidently pitch a product that is priced at X, Y, and Z. Okay. There are quite a few niches I would love to target. However, the problem is that I don't have any experience in said niches. I can research a lot or even approach them, but I myself don't have direct experience in these niches, and the ones I have aren't liable for success in automation. What should I do here? Well, think about it logically. If you needed experience in a niche in order to go into that niche, then how the hell would anybody do anything? You're always going to have to start at the start line somewhere, right? Heart surgeon still needs to have their first heart surgery. Likewise, cold email pro needs to have their first cold email. So don't worry too much about all this, man. You're just like you're stressing overly much. You don't need to be a pro in anything before you get going. You have to like take those first few steps, and they're going to be scary, but they're the only way to move forward. Let's assume you're a newbie in this new career with barely nothing. If you're motivated and eager to deliver value and change your life, what can you do? Walk us through the process, making a portfolio, and what workflows can you make, and everything else until you land your first client. Good job, Nick. You deserve all the good things in the world. Thank you very much, Frida. I really appreciate you. And I'll be honest, this is more or less what my entire channel is about. And I think I've created content about this like a million billion times. So I don't really know if there's too much comparative value that I could offer in this video that I would not more succinctly or more adeptly explain in a previous one. All I will say is the most important thing for you, believe it or not, is not actually the technical understanding of the service. The most important thing for you is putting yourself in front of people that have a problem that you are learning how to solve. If you do so, and you do that enough, your brain is a miraculous and marvelous creature. It will learn what clients value organically and inherently, and it will learn how to position those things that they value in as good a way as humanly possible. So focus on demand generation, more so than the actual service. You will learn the service with time simply by watching videos like mine and reading through documentation and stuff. Okay, thanks for the work that you do, Nick. Sorry, guys, my nose is all gross. Thanks for the work that you're putting in, Nick. May you explain to us the basics in outreach, like how to host mail on Porkbun, which domain to buy, and how to connect it to instantly using IMAP SMTP, and also what does warm-up help and what is the meaning? I will walk you through this. I would not recommend hosting mail on Porkbun. What I recommend you do is just use a done-for-you mail service provider. Instead, what these guys do is you basically get to save a lot of money. It's something like 50% of the cost of you setting it up yourself. And then they actually handle all of like the DNS and the configuration and whatnot on the back end. So there are a variety of providers. The one that I'm currently bullish on is Zapmail. And then there's another one called MailReef. I've used Zapmail before. We're setting up MailReef. And then we've also used InboxLogic as well. Man, Zapmail just crushed their website redesign, eh? Very sexy. And basically, what this does is they'll just do all of that for you, and then they'll import it into instantly without you having to do anything. And then they'll also warm it up for you. Like they'll click the warm up button for you. Warm up just means the emails you're sending to other emails within a predefined network, and then they're opening them and they're responding to them. This just like kind of tells the services like Google and Microsoft that your emails are legit and not, spam emails. What domain to buy? I always recommend .coms. Okay, what's going on, Fatima? She says, have fun, maybe vlog your trip and save some lives here and there. Oh, have a life. That's impossible for me. Paul says, hey, Nick, hope you're doing great. Paul just, he joined Maker School a few days ago, and he's now crushing it. The guy is very, very young. I'm not going to dox your age or whatever, unless you already have. He's very young, and he's extraordinarily ambitious, committed, and he has very, very high quality attention to detail. When I was his age, if I had 1/100th of that attention to detail, I would be a billionaire right now. Anyway, just wanted to ask you what the skills of a solopreneur to get from 10K to 100K a month. Isn't it just packaging at higher prices? Damn, kid. I'd say that's a big chunk of it. Yeah. It's not just packaging at higher prices. Probably the biggest thing is productization, but inherent in productization is packaging. Inherent in productization is the ability to charge higher prices and the ability to set your own desired margin. So I would say those are very, very important for sure. So learn how to productize, learn what good productization looks like. Okay. Thoughts on meta ads to get clients? Have a couple grand I can invest, and the majority of my target customer base hands out on Facebook. I think you could use meta ads to get clients. I haven't found too much success in it myself, but I will be honest. I've never really been very good or successful at ads. So that's one of the reasons I've pushed myself to do outbound. Outbound just makes more sense to me. That said, there are some people that are crushing it with inbound in our niche. So I think you could absolutely do this. Just a matter of your particular technical implementation. Sorry about that. Hey, Nick, love the daily videos, man. Been following for a while and the value is insane. Quick question for you. I'm 16 and doing email outreach. Do you think it's possible to close deals without hopping on meetings? My age is a disadvantage because people don't take me seriously. I know you're not Europe-based, but the laws here make doing taxes and sending invoices as a kid not easy. Wondering if you think it's even worth the struggle right now, or if I should just focus on learning and wait till I'm 18 to start getting paid. Appreciate all the content you put out. The comment section alone is a goldmine. Wow, we got another very ambitious young man over here, crushing it. Looking forward to seeing how far you get like if I had half the business sense that you had at 19, let alone 16. I think it's very difficult to close deals without hopping on meetings. And I think for a managed white glove service like this, I don't really think you can, or I don't think you should anyway, because it just goes against the purpose, right? So no, I don't think I would do that if I were you. I understand you're European. You could still do things as a European. I've lived in Europe for a few months. Like, I'm familiar with just how restrictive many of the laws are. My family's European. So do I think it's worth the struggle? I'll be real. Like, there is a lot of friction here for you. But Paul's European, similar age to you. He's getting out there and doing it. So I don't know if I would talk myself out of it now. But at the same time, there are probably lower friction, easier paths for you. Let's just put it that way. Like, getting a job or something, getting a sales job or something, and then having your payments done for you. Can you get a sales job? I don't know where you are in Europe, but I don't even know if that's legal. Anyway, don't sweat it too much, man. I would hop on meetings. It'll be a disadvantage for sure, but I would hop on meetings. Your first meeting will probably do more than like a whole month at a summer job would. Okay, hey, listen, I'm going to order some food right now. I'm going to DoorDash myself some food. Let's do it, baby. Guys, just mind giving me a minute. I just really need to eat some food here. I've really enjoyed these acai bowls. Let's do that. I want to get some heel wellness bowl. That's cool. I really like these. I feel like I should probably get some protein or something though. Yeah, let's get some protein. Blue Magic. Ooh, power acai. Yeah, there we go. Protein, spinach. Let's do this. Should I add cashew butter? A free drizzle of peanut butter? I don't really want the peanut butter, to be honest. Should I add creatine? MCT oil? MCT oil sounds fun. Why don't I add some MCT oil? Oof, maybe I shouldn't. That doesn't sound good for the digestive tract. All right, you know what? I think that's fine. I think I'm just going to go like OG. I'm going to add that to my cart and have that delivered to my door. I'm such a lazy sack of crap. Unbelievable. I need to, otherwise I'm not going to eat. I know that very well about myself, so let's do it. All right, now that brief hiatus is done, I need to make sure I'm monitoring notifications on this thing, or else it'll sit down for the next 3 hours. I'm just gonna set a little calendar or a clock app timer. All right, cool. Let's get back to it. Next question. Hey, Nick, assuming I'm using your template to make a hyper-personalized cold email outreach system for a client, how would I go about ensuring the system will contact accounts or leads that my client already has contacted, assuming they're using a CRM of some form? Interesting. The system will contact accounts or leads that my client has already contacted? Well, you can just put in like a no contact list for sure. To be honest, this is very rarely a problem in practice unless the company is very big. But yeah, just use like a do not contact list or something. Basically, just get all the email addresses of the people or the companies, and then use that in your Apollo search or whatever search thing that you're using to scrape the leads, and then that'll help avoid that. And it's not going to be 100% perfect. I've pitched people that my clients are already working with, and it's just funny. They rarely take it the wrong way. I'm a very long-time software engineer looking to pivot. Are there opportunities you've seen that more technical and advanced programming skill sets can take advantage of that the no-code automation tools can't handle at this time? Yeah, absolutely. Custom code projects right now for sure. Scraping projects right now for sure. MCPs. A lot of people want like MCP setups and stuff for sure. I would say those are probably the main things. And that's cool, Mr. Alderson, because what you'll find is like software engineering stuff. It's just a lot more perceivably low value. The main reason why is because the clients just can't see what you're doing, and it's not very like visualizable. You know what I mean? Like when you sell make.com flows, N8N flows, and stuff like that, they're much, much more visual. And we're taking this like ephemeral, vague thing, which is, systems, which like, what the hell is a system anyway? And we're turning it into this like very easy to see, colorful if you're using make.com, or very professional looking if you're using N8N flowchart where things go left to right, which people are used to. The op video, that's the way to do it. Thank you. Omar says, Nick, I want to tell you your content's amazing. I want you to help me answer this question, honestly. I'm from Egypt, and I make content about AI automation with N8N Arabic. I've been doing it about 50 days from the account I'm messaging you from. So is that a good number, or am I doing something wrong with my content? Okay, well, why would you think you're doing something wrong with your content? You have 811 subscribers, man. That's crazy. You have 811 subs? What's wrong with your content? There's nothing wrong with your content. I'm not doing editing because I'm still at the beginning, so I prefer cutting between videos since I don't have an editor yet. I work 4 days as a German instructor and have 3 days for AI. I also want to make a Skool community and focus on shorts. So right now I have 3 things I want to prioritize. My YouTube channel, because I know it's a source of clients for anything. Starting to market my Skool community course for Arabs, and then shorts. Tell me, what do you think I should do? What should I prioritize? Because I'm a bit confused. Well, you got something good going, man. I gotta be honest. I didn't think about strategy at all until I was at like 4,000 subs. So would I think about strategy at all at your point? I don't really think I would. Like, That's pretty great. Look at you, man. You got almost 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. Almost 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. That's crazy. You publish 37 videos. That's insane. Like, you know the value of a single subscriber? It can be nuts. Anyway, I don't know what your content's about because it's written in Arabic, right? I know that you're obviously heavily inspired by the content I've created and stuff. If I could make some recommendations, I guess, just off the top of my head, while roasting this fellow's content, it would be, don't just use the same photo for everything. You're just using the same photo for everything. That's just boring. People need to know that this video is different from that video, right? So just use a different like face photo if you want to have your face in there, if it's a part of your branding. Generally speaking, watch the number of characters in your titles, because if you go over approximately 60 characters or so, it depends what the font you're using might be, or the language might be different. But if you go above 60 characters, they cut it off, which is a pain in the ass. You have a pretty established roadmap with yours, because you could just like recreate all the content that I've created and other people have created just in, Arabic, and then you could crush, because I've pre-validated the content that works, right? Yeah, I'd say it's probably 80-20. Oh, the first few ones here, the text's really small. Nobody's really going to see the text. Keep in mind that like most people are going to be seeing it in their Explore feeds, which are going to look like this. So I can hardly even read that, and I definitely can't read that green text at the bottom. Okay, man. Hopefully what I'm saying here makes sense, but yeah, you're doing good, man. Like, I don't know. It really depends on what you're doing. I don't know if I would start to market my Skool community. When did I start marketing my Skool community? I think I was at like 10,000 or something, maybe more. I think I was over 10,000. You're like 1/10 of that. Obviously the Arabic and the English markets are different, but yeah, anyway, I guess what I'm trying to say is like, man, I don't build these big strategies. I just literally, and I'm removing a bunch of your other comments here. I don't build these big strategies. I just do the same thing every single day for a very long period of time. And then it just becomes like illogical for me not to make money. It's almost like, I'm not woo-woo or super spiritual or anything, but it's like I just continuously put my intentions out in the world, and the world eventually just says like, you need to make some money. Here's how. And then I just have an opportunity that's just like a layup. Julia says, I like your content, but it's just BS that you hook people with salesy titles and it's just a QA. Is it really? I mean, this video is definitely Q&A. That's for sure. Can I blame this fella? I don't think I can blame this fella. Fair point. From India, love your YouTube to Skool framework, says Akarsh. I'm 22 years old. I'm interested in building AI agents using N8N for businesses and teaching it via Skool. Should I follow the same framework of yours, or can you tell me some even more better version of it? Can you give me a suggestion? Most important thing for you, my man, is you're going to need some distribution. So do you have distribution? Let's check your channel. You got 1 subscriber. Okay. You need distribution in order to do anything, my man. Like, again, as I was just talking about to Omar a moment ago, I just published a lot of videos till I had the distribution to the point where it was illogical for me not to make a large amount of money with it. So you're going to need distribution in order to do anything. Fatima says, has question, my brain 404 not found. Ritesh says, Nick, I need your advice. I'm 19, college student, and I started learning AI about a month ago. I've been practicing, but I haven't landed my first client. Thinking about joining Maker Skool, but only have $250 to invest. Do you think it's worth it, or should I focus on something else first? Really appreciate your patience, or your guidance rather. Why don't you bootstrap yourself up a little bit more, huh? Why don't you get to the point where you have like $1,000 and then join Maker Skool, and then that way I don't feel like you're holding a gun to my head being like, I need this to work. So that's what I'd recommend. All right, Can, I'm just going to remove this comment because it's the same one as before. Thank you very much, SenKO. Hey, Jess, what's going on? Thank you very much for commenting. Loving your vids and the information you share. I was curious, how do you create and then edit your TikTok and Instagram videos? What software do you use? What's your workflow like? Do you do it yourself? My Instagram, TikTok videos are not myself, no. I will record in one big batch, a bunch of scripts, and then I will hand them off to an editor, which takes care of them for me. Then, he does like the video screen share and stuff like that too, which is cool. Thank you, Harshit. Mr. Gafar says, Nick, what do you think of AI content creation for e-commerce and content agencies? Something AI-generated product ads. Would you say is a good niche or business idea? I think it's a great niche. I think if you can learn how to use these AI video tools like better than 99.9% of people, you have a very high income skill. Do I think that high income skill will persist for much longer than maybe like 6 to 12 months? No, I don't. I think eventually the bar for skill will go down a lot, and it'll be very easy to like generate high quality looking stuff. But I think it's a very high quality skill to learn in the next year or so. You could probably make like $1 million with it. Millennial Wellness says, I'm going hard with lead gen and sales. Anyone with a strong tech background looking for partnering up, let me know. Also a good option to people not based in the US like me who struggle with US or my English or US time zone. Yeah, I've come to realize Maker Skool has so much more value than just the value of the actual community. It has a ton of value for me. I hire from Maker Skool now, and it's just like a whole, thousands of people that understand exactly how to make money. They basically learned a bunch of, skills that make them very effective at generating revenue. So I'm not going to tell you need to hire from Maker Skool, but like, yeah, people that watch my daily updates channel and people in Maker Skool, great place to hire from. Anytime somebody makes a hiring post in there, it also adds value to my own group, which is, it's obviously aligning incentives. Miguel says, right now I got some new bookkeeping businesses, which I'm helping generate leads. How would you go about the copy and icebreaker to approach these businesses via cold email for bookkeepers? Thanks in advance. I would pitch it as a bookkeeper. I would say, hey, I work with a bookkeeping company out in location, or some specific thing that like grounds it, makes it real. We do insert amount of money here. And we just added insert amount of money here with insert system here. Now this is out of left field, but I think I could build a very similar system for you and make you a ton of money. Now you're approaching it from bookkeeper to bookkeeper, not from like person trying to sell from the outside, which gives you a lot of plausible deniability. What are you using a screen record? Yeah, OBS. Oh, my man, the 6T, your timestamps are going to be some long ass timestamps. Nick, I saw you mention the importance of spending money to make money. What advice do you give to someone who wants to start out with very limited resources? In general, I would bootstrap yourself using a job or something like that to the point where you have sufficient resources to actually dive in and not feel so pressed to make money that you like can't pay attention to long-term stuff. You ask yourself, do I have the money necessary to like do the same thing that I'm doing every day for like 3 months? And if the answer to that is no, then make some more money first. This is coming from somebody that just dove right into entrepreneurship, was completely dead broke, and at one of the worst years of my life, probably the worst year of my life as a result. So I had too much pride, and I cared too much about like the perception of being a business owner than actually what was involved in being a business owner. And so rather than get a job, I pretended like I didn't have to. And then later I ended up having to get a job, and it was freaking brutal. How do you tackle having a fulfillment process for a single service, which takes you too long to fulfill? For every client, there's slight differences, which makes the list building process extraordinarily complex. But you currently have too many clients. You're still getting too many clients. You won't be able to fulfill using a standardized procedure. Definitely, it's best to start working on the productization for the biggest use case. Because this doesn't exist yet, the ongoing clients take so much more time to fulfill. You don't have enough time building the standardized approach because too many deadlines for campaigns. Yeah, you're actually raising a very common issue that I see in Maker Skool all the time, because I teach you how to like get demand, and then you get a ton of demand, but then you usually get the demand faster than you have gotten to the point in the program where like we actually start running you through how to scale and like how to productize this stuff. So you end up just being like, holy shit, how the hell do I get my head out of water? You know what sucks? You have to get your head further underneath the water first for a few days or weeks to build the systems necessary to pull you out. You basically need a time deficit. So I would fire a client or two or something, or find some way to outsource somebody completely to buy you a few hours a day, maybe like an hour or two a day, and then spend those hour or two a day focused on the productization of the service, and then slowly increase the level to which your service is productized with every new client, and that'll slowly get you out. It's not a very fulfilling answer because it takes time and you don't see the results immediately. You're going to see a little bit here or there. And you're gradually going to grow more efficient, but that is how it works, yeah. Hey, Nick, a lot of the lead gen services are expensive. Could you build one so as to demo to the client without having to pay these combined fees? Yeah, you could build like a skeleton for that, for sure. And then how do you charge for the actual build? I just send Stripe. If it's on Upwork, I'll just do it through Upwork, but otherwise I just have like a Stripe invoice. Hey, Nick, I've mentioned that a ton of DMs that you go through, that you try to go through every day. Why not use a simple automation that reads your DMs, analyzes them, prepares a summary, and sends you a draft of their own tone of writing style for you to send? I've done this. Works reasonably. I won't say it's the best. There's just always some context that like you're always missing, or the thing is always missing. But I do this. This is not DMs though. This is email, right? Like you can't do this with DM platforms. A lot of these platforms just don't allow you to do stuff like that. They're like very anti-automation. And if you automate them, now I'm putting my platform health at risk, right? So you got to be careful with that. Priyan says, my question is, I've been building automations for quite a few months now. I want to start selling them, but I don't have experience and I haven't worked with anyone. So what would be your advice to start selling? Well, you just got to start selling. I wish I could offer you a more, again, fulfilling answer, but like you got to put yourself in the arena, man. You got to get the gladiator suit on and go in front of the tiger. And, you got to figure it out. It blows. It's terrible, but it's the only way forward. The only way out is through, right? Also, while applying to work for free on Upwork, I don't feel confident enough to apply, as I feel like if I cannot build the automation correctly as they want, or if there's some glitch that I cannot fix, maybe. What would be your advice in this case? And my advice, Priyan, is just align incentives by offering like a guarantee. A guarantee will decrease the level of risk the client faces, and then it will also align incentives so that you feel obligated to deliver the outcome. By doing so, the probability of you achieving the outcome goes up because now your money is on the line, right? So you are putting yourself into harm's way. You're basically putting yourself on a chopping block. And the formula is like, the higher the risk that I feel, the more likely I am to actually be able to do the thing. That's how I would do it. Then it doesn't really matter how confident you feel, right? You'll find a way to figure it out. How much money would you recommend to have to start Maker Skool? Yeah, at least $1,000. Please do an appointment setter automation where you can make an automatic or schedule and then link it with a personal phone where someone gets an alert when it's time for that. Hey, Frida, it's tough for me to know exactly what this means. Personal phone where someone gets an alert when it's time for that. Appointment setter automation that we can make automatic or schedule. What does that mean? Here's my general appointment setting flow. It's 100% manual, and then I will send a calendar link at some point. Like they book on the calendar, and then the calendar event triggers, the calendar booking triggers a webhook. That webhook triggers an update or an addition into my CRM. Let's go, says Aaron. Thank you. Congrats, you found the placeholder comment. Thanks, Fatima. Another banger video, Nick. I'd add that voice agents operate 24/7. So not only do they save money during business hours, but also capture missed calls after hours. I found they're 10 times more efficient than most people realize, and therefore a huge value proposition to most businesses. Hey man, I think you're like right insofar that they are a value proposition, but I don't know if they're a huge value proposition to most businesses. I think they're like an okay value proposition to some businesses. I think we'll just put it that way. I see your title is Anthony Tun AI voice agents. So obviously you're selling voice agents. So I understand that like you love them and you're also incentivized to talk about how great they are. But like, if we're real, there are lots of situations I would say where they just don't make sense. It's true that they operate 24/7, but like how many calls is a salon really getting at like 1 a.m., right? Like not very many. So the comparative value there is low. The big value in the 24/7 is stuff like emergency dental bookings or whatnot. You know, that's about it. Like emergency late night bookings. Yeah. So I think that that's a point of value, but it's not like a huge value proposition as a result. Also, my whole point with voice agents is that they're efficient, but they're not effective. What I mean by that is, yes, they save you money, but a lot of the time, because you're replacing a real human being, people love talking to people, much more so than they like talking to robots. You're replacing a real human being with a robot. You may save money on the human being, but you will lose revenue because your close rate will go down. And usually, because of margins, top line revenue is way, way higher than the profit. Most businesses that are brick and mortar that might actually use these. Oh shit, one sec. My timer just went off. I think my food's here. Most businesses that would actually use these things, realistically, are, oh no, bro, we have another 15 minutes. What was I saying? Most businesses that would actually use these things are going to operate at like a 3x, right? Like a 30% margins or something, because they're brick and mortar, they're rental, they have a lot more things that they have to deal with. And so as a result, you are saving 30% to lose, 100% at minimum, which often just doesn't really make any sense, does it? So that's my take on it. Sorry, I was listening to this really banger song while I was doing all my Q&A, and then my timer went off and it like took my headphones off. So let me just see if I could fix this up. So I really want to listen to that banger song again. Oh, nope, it's not. Nope, that's not working. Oh man, I really like that song. Could I connect a device or something? Well, that blows. Oh, I found the song I really like, and I've just been listening to it every 3 minutes for the last 3 days. And I put it on while answering the daily updates. That's why I have my headphones in, because I figured it'd be like a chill time, enjoy some good tunes. But yeah, I can't hear it anymore. Okay, hold on a second. Maybe I can connect these a little bit better. There has to be a way I could like get my audio out, right? Oh, here we go. Output. Yes. Yes, I did it. I did it. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, I'm early. I've been tuned heavily in over the last few days. I'm going to cook up a good question for one of your future videos. Well, Sperry, have fun doing that in 12 days, man. Hey, Nick, can you tell me what are the devices and tools you're using to draw on the monitor screen with a stylus? How did you connect both? How can I do that? Yeah, I do an XP pen. I spent about $50 on it. Just like look it up on Amazon. And then the apps are Presentify. And then I also use like a Lucid Spark, which is this little thing over here that I draw on the board with. It'd be actually kind of cool, now that I'm thinking about it, for me to divide these in half, right? Like, what if I did this? Right? And then what if I took the comments and then I put them here? Then what if I did this? Now I could actually answer questions while drawing on the page. I feel like that'd be so much cooler for most people. Then I can move this here. And then the people that are listening, like a podcast, are going to be fine. And then I can also draw. Oh, man, that's so sick. Okay. Wow. I think we just like massively upgraded the perceived value of these recordings. That's sick, man. Well, actual value too. Okay. Wow. Sometimes it just like takes your song not working, and then everything else is amazing. Okay. Hey, Nick, glad I found your channel. Big value. Question. How can I know if I've gathered enough knowledge to start looking for leads to sell my AI and automation skills for? Take the amount of knowledge that you think you need to know and then divide it by 4. And if you're past that, then you can actually start going and selling stuff. Okay, send 123KO gives you some hearts. Bro, you like my comments but never answered me, LOL. Oh shit, man, I got a lot of these, so it's very hard for me to keep track of them at this point. But like, if this ever happens again, just put your question in the comment here that you are using to complain to me about. Nick, you're doing great videos here. I really enjoy watching them. Since you're so young, what are you doing to future-proof your income and wealth so you don't have to worry about supporting yourself in the future? You still have a lot of life to live. I'm at the point now where, yeah, like I've definitively retired. Pretty soon I'll be what's called like fat FIRE, which is where you financial independence retire early with a large amount of money. So I'm basically insulated. My money's in mostly very low risk investments. Obviously, I'm like diversified to the point where like when the market goes up, I go up. When the market goes down, in general, I go down. But yeah, I'm really not worried about that, I would say. So I've now accomplished mostly the big goal that everybody wants to accomplish with their life, which is retiring or having the capability or capacity to retire. I've done that now, so I'm good. Good day, Master Saraev. Your counsel is ever a beacon amidst the noise, each word carrying the weight of hard-won wisdom. To learn from you is to drink from a well both deep and clear, and I find myself ever grateful for the clarity you bring. You are a poet. Damn, I wish I was still on Tinder because I'd be using that as my pickup line. Just hinge it. Yo, Nick, currently trying to scale to 10,000 euros per month, or pounds, I think. I've discovered your videos less than a month through a friend and find myself playing every single one. I've run through some blog posts, your biography, the blog about your goals, and the detailed rundown of your current situation that you penned down September 2024. Question, have you ever read the 12 Laws of Success? If not, you should. Processes you have align directly with the book and may give you some ideas on how to take things into the next level. Not shocking at all, considering with where you're at. Another, where have you found to be the biggest difference between $10,000 a month and $100,000 a month? $10,000 a month is achievable simply through like tenacity, consistency, and then like caveman style intellect. But $100,000 a month definitely is not for any sort of service business. And hopefully we're talking about service businesses here. Like, just to be clear, you can achieve $100,000 a month as like an affiliate or somebody selling e-com. It's just a lot more difficult to do so, and you need more things in order to do it, right? Like you need startup capital, inventory, and whatnot. I like focusing on the service business market because it's just like lowest barrier to entry, and it made the biggest impact on my own life. So yeah, you can't hit $100,000 a month in a service business by just like caveman installing it. You actually have to learn how to do business, and a lot of the time that involves things like hiring. Involves things like building productized systems that operate without you and stuff like that. So learning how to actually do business is pretty crazy. Reading your blogs pushes me, and I'm sure so many others, and gives me a level of certainty when it comes to success. Thank you very much, Okenve. Very much appreciated. Hey, Nick, me and my partner watch your content frequently. We are killing it in our business journey and get so much valuable inspiration from you. Thank you. I love the way you communicate your videos with illustrations. It'd be super beneficial for myself. Excalidraw, it's the XP pen, and then it's also the XP pen, and then, what did I say earlier? Presentify. There we go. Nisei says, the math is off to me. Voice costs way more. If you have high volume, 500 to 1,000, that is for the bad point for the rest. I don't think an AI receptionist is much of a trade, as they often replace the horrible Twilio experience of press 1 for, press 2 for. They also remember you and are available 24/7. Then the receptionist just press the action button for people that are already qualified. They're not really doing much more. See, this is a really interesting and nuanced way that you could use a voice system. You just use it to replace the press 1 for this, press 2 for that, right? So use it as like a pre-qualification system, basically. I would say if you are capable of using voice agents in nuanced ways like this, yes, you will have a better experience and you should use them. Most people don't, though. Most people just try and like have them replace the receptionist. So I feel that, Nisei. And thank you very much for crushing Maker School, by the way. Hi, Nick, I'm learning automation, but I always need some sort of help from YouTube videos. I cannot make it alone. I'm very curious how to make full automations on my own and how to manage different sorts of projects by understanding the client requirements. Well, you cannot make it alone is an identity and a label that you are subscribing to. In reality, you cannot make it alone right now, right? You cannot make it alone yet, but you should internalize the idea that you can make it alone eventually. It's just a matter of time. Hi, Nick. I currently work as an email marketer for a D2C e-commerce brand on the sports tech niche, and I've built strong skills in copywriting, campaign building, and automation flows. I'm really interested in how AI automations work and was wondering what types of automations I should start building and selling if my goal is to eventually transition into making AI automation my full-time focus. Interesting. D2C e-commerce brand on the sports tech niche, huh? Well, I think I've probably talked enough about how AI automations work. They don't allow you to do anything you couldn't already do. All they do is they improve the efficiency and speed of the process. And speed is really important for revenue, obviously, because the faster you can do things, typically the more money you can make on the front end through things like speed to lead. And then the more orders you can fulfill in a certain amount of time. And then, the more juice you could squeeze if it's like personalized and stuff like that. And then efficiency just saves you money. So that's how AI automations work. What automations you should start building and selling? You should do revenue proximate ones. I'm recording a video on the main channel about this soon, but basically just do ones that are closer to revenue. So do sales automations, do marketing automations, do lead gen automations, do stuff that like helps you make money, not stuff that helps you save money. Hey, Nick, hope you're doing great. Just wanted to ask you if Upwork has an explicit advantage to other freelance platforms because you often really just recommend Upwork. It's definitely the simplest and the easiest, I would say. Not that it has it's the best platform or whatever cost-wise. Costs more money than other platforms, but it's the most accessible for sure. Can you share the software? We got an OBS question here. Do you have your first program video for Maker School available outside the Skool community? No, I do not. Just because I obviously don't want to show that. Nick, it seems like your website doesn't show a section anymore. Did you remove it or is it a bug? No, it doesn't show that section anymore. Agencies helping healthcare businesses should be worried about regulations like HIPAA. AI voice agents might not be ready for this sort of responsibility. I would agree. Oh, sir, 7 minutes and 20 views, ? Sad. That's actually really good for my daily updates channel. Yeah, man, that's like 180 views an hour, which is fantastic. Oh, you're probably confusing this with my main one. That's why. Some people don't realize I have two, so they look at it and they're like, Nick, you're cooked, man. Your video sucks. Think Online, just finished watching your last video and a fresh one drops. Thank you. Thank you very much, SenKO. Sorry for leaking the sauce. This SLN 10 New York. It's all good. Agone says, Nick, I'm struggling at the moment to know which direction to go in. Hormozy talks a lot about focus. I'm a graduate architectural technician, and I started a web design company. Since then, I've had 5 clients and currently have 1 retainer for $1,000 a month. I just niched to the construction industry, but I'm feeling lost. Web design's hard, doesn't directly show results, which I'm struggling with. My retainer is currently for the web design and for architectural drawings. That could be a possible addition. My reach isn't to the level, and I'm split on starting cold email as a source of outbound. Got my retainer from a cold email. Those emails were wrote by hand, not using instantly. I'm running ads, 10 euros a day, which is making it take ages to be able to adjust them. And after 3 months, has got no conversions, even though I've optimized time and time again, offer, landing page, etc. What should I focus on outbound wise? Well, I mean, are you seeing what I'm seeing? Anybody? I mean, you got a client with cold email and now you're not doing cold email anymore. Just keep on doing cold email, man. Take the money and then automate the hell out of the process and just do what works. Take a very similar approach to what you did. Yeah. So don't use elbow grease for sure. Haircut nice. Thank you, Chris. And don't sweat what's happening right now, right? Just zoom out. The moves that you are making are obviously trending in the right direction. They are directionally correct. If you stack enough directionally correct moves up, you will eventually win. So yeah, I mean, ads aren't working for you at 10 euro a day. Well, that's fine. Just take the 10 euro a day, which is 300 euro a month, and just spend it all on cold emails and you'll win. You probably send like 3,000 cold emails a day with that at max volume. Hey, Nick, Maeve here. Huge fan of your work. I'm building a lean solo automation agency and could use your take. Wonderful. I'm starting with almost no budget. Do $0 to $10 max with free tools like N8N, Google Sheets, and others to build automations for coaches, real estate agents, restaurants, clinics, real estate agents, and local service providers. Solid laptop, phone, internet. Currently on summer break, so the time to build fast and put in serious work. But I'm for a third world country, and I've noticed, my friends, that clients sometimes lose trust once they find that out, even when they offer real value. Saving up isn't an option right now because I'm on a tight deadline with the short-term goal I need to hit. So my question is it really possible to start from scratch and land paying clients in 30 to 60 days with no real budget? Appreciate your honesty, and even a one-line reply would help a lot. Well, definitely spent more than one line reading that. I wonder if I can find a different way to do this where I don't have to like spend the bulk of my time reading people's questions. I don't mean that in a bad way, Maeve, just because I do have a one-line reply to you. Yeah, you got a couple of different like lead gen methods. So anyway, my question is it possible? Yes, for sure. It is just harder because you have to do all the work manually. But it sounds like you said that you have all day available to this, right? So if you have 8 hours a day, how long does it really take to scrape or find leads yourself? Take you maybe like 2 minutes a lead or something. probably scrape 30 leads an hour, right? How long does it take to send an outbound email that you are fully customizing with the information that you just like manually scraped? Doesn't take very long. Might take you like 2 minutes. So you could send 30, you could scrape 30 in an hour, and then you could send 30 in an hour, right? So you have 4 of those periods available a day. So realistically, your total outbound daily capacity is 120, and that's assuming you go entirely manually. If you combine that with some DMs, stuff like that, you are capable of the same volume that people in my community are. It's just you are spending a lot more time to do it. That's really the trade-off. All right, let's do one more, and then I'm going to go pick up my DoorDash thing, and then I think I'll probably call it for the day. Where the hell's my DoorDash driver? He texted me, he's like, it is downstairs in the lobby. And then I checked his map and he's like 4 miles away. Hopefully he didn't see the wrong lobby. I'm 15. I have $200 a month. How and what should I spend my money on? I'm in a dilemma. Do I go all out and invest a significant amount at the start? Or do I play it slow here and strive for a financial runway of 8 to 12 months? Yeah, I would increase the runway a little bit. Yeah, 130 is not very much. You'll run most of that out with the cold emails for sure. I don't think you need to go 8 to 12 months. Maybe try 3 months, okay? 3 months. Try about 1,000, I would say. And then, how do you spend your money? Spend it on Upwork primarily. Oh, I guess you're 15. Sorry, you can't. Spend it on cold email primarily and cold DMs on social media platforms. And then brush up your social media platforms. Make them very sexy. Hey, Nick, appreciate your guidance. Thank you. Do you believe that lower ticket community has more growth than the higher ticket? Mine does. Yeah, for sure. My lower ticket community is just insane. Hey, Nick, curious if you had tips avoiding burnout. I'm 3 months in, working full-time, and then doing this on the side. I've gotten a couple of Upwork clients, but I'm finding myself avoiding Upwork apps due to the low yield, and in general, I'm feeling quite burnt out. How often did you have days where you did nothing, and how did you stay on the grind for years and years? Yeah, I definitely, when I was starting out, I had days where I did nothing. But I found this post on Reddit a little while ago, well, several years ago, called No Zero Days. The whole idea was basically no matter what, if you have a day, just never do nothing. Even if you have a really shit day and you're just feeling like ass, never just do nothing that day. Just do one thing and send one Upwork app. Basically, the idea is don't break the streak. Keep up some level of momentum going. And if you do this, you are effectively still in the game, even if you're not really performing super well that day. So it has been many years since I've had a 0 day. I used to take 0 days pretty often, but now it has been many, many years. I will always do something, whatever it is. I will go inbox 0, or I will respond to my communities, or I will record a YouTube video, or I will have a sales call, or I will do something, but I just never have 0 days. So my recommendation to you to avoid burnout is don't treat it as an on or off switch, because that's how you're treating your life right now. You're treating it as when I'm on, but when I'm off, I'm burned out. Treat it as a dimmer switch. You have degrees of work and degrees of freedom. Okay. Hold on. All right, guys, I think I'm going to call it there. Really appreciate your time. And can the guy not get in? Oh, I don't think he knows. That's brutal, man. Not another one of these. Rough. All right, well, anyway, I'm going to go downstairs, grab my breakfast. Unfortunately, I was unable to really do more than, I think, 4 days of posts. Oh, okay, let's just get down to 10 days. Has anyone had issues with Avify and the Apollo scraper recently? No, they have changed their new sign-up URLs. So, no, it is different. Hey, I'm from Spain. I started learning about AI agencies and have everything ready to launch. I'm the kind of person who, if I do something, I want to do it well. I'm concerned about the legal side of things, like contracts, etc. Might be a bit off topic, but I appreciate if you give me some advice on how to draft a contract in broad terms. I understand it depends on the country. What should a contract generally include to stay legally covered? Generally, I don't really care too much about the contracts at all, because I work mostly with SMBs, and I work cross-border and stuff. I'm not, I rarely work with the same people in my country. So enforceability of contracts for small to mid-sized businesses makes the friction very high in pursuing something that is less than $50,000 in actual value. So just know for me, contracts are mostly a marketing gimmick. It's just hey, I have a legitimate process that I'm following. What are things to generally include? Include some sort of non-disclosure agreement. It's a big chunk of it, honestly. Include some sort of limited liability protection. Include some sort of terms about if it's an ongoing monthly contract that the customer has a certain amount of time to let you know ahead of time. If they let you know the same day that they don't want to do it for the next month, that kind of blows, right? Because you will have already, used a bunch of resources essentially to build stuff for them for the next month. So don't let people get away with that. And then, yeah, that's about it, Arna. But yeah, I really appreciate that. And I understand that you want to do it well. Obviously, I want to do it well too, right? Big chunk of what I do is doing it really well. But I'm only at the point where I can do it well now because I've actually done it a lot, and I have done it poorly as well. So if you try and spend a bunch of time aiming, you'll never fire, unfortunately. What a gamer. Do you have a recommended long-term general purpose diet? No, sir. No, I do not. Guys, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. You guys are crushing for real. Thank you very much, Fatima. Okay. Yeah, I will go pick up my food. Thank you, and have a lovely rest of the day. Hopefully I've answered a ton of questions, and I'll do my brand sets and stuff like that off screen just to save everybody some time. Had a fun hour with y'all. Maybe I'll do another one of these tomorrow because I don't have a call. Not entirely sure. I'll double check, and then maybe I will. And then we'll get through a lot of things.